Hi guys, welcome back for another cleaning video. Today I'm going to show you 3 ways to get the sweat smell out of your shirts and your workout clothes. And I'm happy to say that all 3 of these are easy ways to get that sweat smell out. And guys, if you don't know, I live in Houston, Texas, so I do a lot of sweating just working in my garage on furniture projects, working on home remodeling projects all the time, or even working out. I work out 5 days a week. And eventually that sweat and that bacteria starts to build up in your clothing. And ironically, your deodorant and your detergent help trap some of that bacteria and that sweat smell in your clothes. So after about 4 or 5 months of the shirts in the workout clothes that I wear a lot, they start to stink, and even straight out of the dryer, they already don't smell great. So I have to give them a special treatment to get rid of the sweat smell and the stains that build up in the armpit from the deodorant. So let me show you. There's 3 easy ways to do this. 2 of them are all natural for those of you who love to use all natural whenever you can. And another one is a great product that is still safe for you. Let's get into it. Like I mentioned before, getting rid of that sweat smell in your clothes starts with a pre-treatment that is going to get rid of that residue that is built up on your clothing. And that residue is that little bit of built up detergent, deodorant, or even fabric softener that builds up on the fabric, and it traps in the bacteria and the odors that come along with just wearing your clothing or wearing your workout clothes. The first option I have for you is mixing half a gallon of tap water with 1 cup of white distilled vinegar. So just the normal kitchen vinegar. Just in case you're like my husband, I will say rice vinegar and red wine vinegar don't count. It has to be white distilled vinegar. Make sure you completely submerge your clothing into that mixture so that it can really work. In my second bucket, I am mixing up half a gallon of water with OxiClean Odor Blasters. So this is designed to get rid of those trapped in odors in your fabric. OxiClean is an oxygenated bleach, so it should be safe on most colors. It is not like a chlorine bleach that will strip the color out of a fabric. But just be sure to read the instructions on the back of the product to make sure it's safe on whatever fabric you need to clean. So I used a full scoop of that OxiClean in that water, and then I mixed that in really well before I added my shirts. So for this particular one, I cleaned my 2 worst smelling and looking shirts in this bucket because I had the highest expectations, I guess, for this product. These 2 shirts had a little bit of extra deodorant buildup in the armpits of those shirts. So I did submerge those shirts in the liquid, and then I sort of scrubbed the armpits to remove some of that residue, give it a little bit of a head start before it's soaked. I just rubbed the fabric against itself to remove that residue, but you could also use a soft bristle brush or maybe an old soft bristle toothbrush to do the same thing. And then after washing that OxiClean off of my hands, I moved on to the third product that will help you get that sweat smell out of your shirts and your workout clothes. So for this third one, I went with half a gallon of tap water again, and then half a cup of regular baking soda that you already have in your kitchen for baking anything. Don't forget to mix that baking soda up really well so that it dissolves in the water before you put your clothing into it. I have to say that of all 3 of the treatments, I was most skeptical of this baking soda treatment. I just didn't expect it to have that much of an impact on sweaty smelling clothes. But you'll see at the end when I do the sniff test on all of these shirts, the baking soda did hold up. I think if I was going to use it on a really stinky shirts or shirts with a lot of buildup though, I would use a full cup of baking soda in that half a gallon of water. And I'll do that scrubbing trick to get the armpits really started as far as removing the residue. All right, after you have all of your pre-treatment set up, you'll want to leave them for at least 3 hours. I left these overnight. So all 6 of these shirts soaked overnight in these 3 different pre-treatments. So the next morning, I was ready to wash all of these shirts to see how they turned out. And I started by using that OxiClean Odor Blaster again in the washing machine, along with my regular detergent. So I use Tide. I always think it works better whenever I've tried other detergents. Tide really does kind of live up to its brand name. So that's 1 scoop of the OxiClean, but it's totally optional. And then I used the regular amount of Tide. And before I put those shirts into the washing machine, I gave them a little bit of a quick sniff test. And I have to say, with all 6 of those shirts, I really couldn't smell anything as far as sweat or body odor coming off of the shirts. But of course, they were sitting in vinegar, which is pretty stinky. and the OxiClean has sort of a scent to it too. So the real test comes after you pull them out of the dryer, and that heat lets all of that body odor out if there's anything left behind. So let's get this wash started. I put all 6 shirts into the washing machine and then started a normal wash cycle using warm water. Once that wash completed, I moved everything over to the dryer and let it run at a full dry time with a regular heat. Then all I had to do was wait. The real test to whether or not the stink was removed from those clothes is when it comes out of the dryer and those clothes are still hot. So out of all 6 shirts, I'm surprised to say that only one of them had a slight smell to it still. It was very, very faint, but the blue shirt that was in the vinegar mixture was the one that had just the faintest smell left behind. So typically when I do this in the future, I'm just going to be using that OxiClean Odor Blaster. I'm not sponsored by anything. I just really like OxiClean products in general. But I wanted to test out the vinegar and the baking soda for all of you that like to use just a natural alternative cleaner. So the baking soda and the vinegar are great. The vinegar might need a little bit higher dose of vinegar, and the baking soda, like I said before, should probably be 1 cup of baking soda with that half a gallon of water. But as you can see here, the close-ups on the shirts, the pit stains from that I used the OxiClean on, pit stains and yellowing and that buildup of the deodorant completely gone on both of those shirts. That's it for how to get the sweat smell out of workout clothes and shirts. If this helped, let me know in the comments below, guys, or if you have tips for me, also let me know. Thanks, guys.